After Frodo gets poisoned by Shelob and taken captive by the orcs, Sam says he has to rescue Master. Welcome to Part 16, the Tower of Cirith Ungol. In this quest, we have to set aside 2 items, one from each player. I'm going to be setting aside the Palantir of Orthanc and the Mithril shirt. Here are the boons and burdens I've earned so far. The decks that I'm using on this quest, I'm using a Messenger of the King Hobbit deck. You cannot choose more than 2 attachments during setup. 2 heroes during setup. Choose a non-unique ally from your deck and put it into play. Add the sum of that ally's printed willpower, attack, and defense, and hit points to the starting threat. Then flip this card over and attach it to that ally. Side B. Attached ally loses the ally card type and gains the hero card type. Attached character cannot be readied more than once per phase. Messenger of the King is immune to card effects while attached character is in play. If attached character leaves play, remove Messenger of the King from the game. I'm having Rosie as my messenger. I got Sam and Galadriel. With a starting threat of 23. In the other deck, it's a Bond of Friendship. Your deck must have exactly 50 cards and include exactly 10 cards from each of the 4 spheres. You can't include more than 2 copies of any card by title in your deck. When choosing your starting heroes, you may choose 4 heroes instead of 3. Each of your heroes must belong to a different sphere. So to be able to get up to 50, you have to have 10 neutral. I've got Bilbo Baggins, Glorfindel, Galdor of the Havens, and Gildor and Glorian, with a starting threat of 34. Now each player draws 6 cards. I'm going to keep this hand. Going over to the Bond of Friendship deck. We're going to use Galdor of the Haven's ability where instead of taking a mulligan, you can discard X cards and draw that many cards. You discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Pass the tower, 1A. Pass the 2 watchers, 1A. Set Shagrat aside out of play. Add the 2 watchers, location side face up, and topmost chamber to the staging area. The first player loses control of the ring bearer and places it face up under the topmost chamber as a guarded objective. Then the first player attaches Last of the Company to a hero he controls and attach the 1 ring to that hero. So we got the topmost chamber with the ring bearer underneath it. The 2 watchers. We also add the 2 Race on Wings that we earned. Now 1B, 0 quest points. Each non-unique location gets -1 threat and cannot leave the staging area. While the 2 watchers is in the staging area, enemy side face up is considered to be engaged with each player. The stage cannot be defeated while the 2 watcher is in play. Each hero gets a resource. Draw a card. Frodo's Intuition. We're going to play Hobbit Cloak onto Sam. Now we're going to go over to the Bond of Friendship deck, draw a card, Elrond's Console. We're going to put a Hobbit Cloak onto Bilbo. Now going to the questing phase. We're going to exhaust Sam Gamgee because of the heavy burden. We're going to quest for 1/2 and target the Race on Wings. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, and raise our threat by 1. And there is a total of 5 in the staging area. First card is Gorbag. Second card is a Winding Stairs. So that added 5 threat to the staging area, bringing it up to 10. We're going to play a Elrond's Consul, and we're going to give it to Bilbo. So he gets +1 threat, and we reduce our threat by 3. So we quest successfully by 1. Actually by 2, because the Cirith Ungol, the Winding Stairs is -1. And then we deal 1 damage to the Race on Wings. And then we're going to use Galadriel's ability to have the Bond of Friendship deck draw a card and reduce their threat by 1. Now we're going to go to the end of the round. Raise each player's threat by 1, and each hero gets a resource. Draw a card. Golden Belt. We're going to put an Unexpected Courage onto Sam. We're going to put a Magic Ring onto Sam, where I can raise my threat by 1 to either ready character, get a resource, or heal 1 damage. Now we're going to go over to the Rosie deck, draw a card, Nenya. We're going to put Nenya onto Galadriel. That gives her the lore icon. Then we're going to play a Friend of Friends onto Rosie. We're going to raise our threat by 1 to give Sam a resource from the Magic Ring, and then we're going to play a Frodo's Intuition. We get to draw 2 cards. And each of my heroes gets a willpower. Now we go into the quest phase. We're going to quest for 5, 6, and we're going to target Gorbag. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the staging area. First card is Drawn to the Ring. When revealed, each player must choose either exhaust one ring. The first player must choose either exhaust one ring and reveal an encounter card, or discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded, and put it into play and engage with him. We're going to discard cards until an enemy is discarded. So we have to raise our threat by 2. And that readies up Sam. Next card, Saga Archer. So we added a total of 2 threats to the staging area, bringing it up to 13. And quested successfully by 1, so we deal 1 damage to Gorbag. Now we go to the encounter phase. We're not going to engage anything. And we have 2 archery. We're going to put 1 onto Bilbo and 1 onto Gildor. Now we're going to block the Eric Soldier with Sam. No shadow. 1 damage. And then Rosie's going to give Sam +3 attack. Actually, I'm just going to give Rosie's defense, so there's no damage. And go to the next round. Oh, actually, I'm going to use Gladriel's ability and lower my threat by 1. Draw a card. Gaffer. Now, go to the end of the round. Each player raises their threat by 1. And each hero gets a resource. Draw a card, Fast Hitch. We're going to put a Fast Hitch onto Rosie. We're going to raise our threat by 1 to give Sam a resource from the magic ring. And now we're going to spend play another Frodo's Intuition and draw 2 cards. Put a Song of Hope onto Rosie. Now we're going to go over to the Bond of Friendship deck and draw a card. Halfling Determination. We're going to use Gildor's ability to have the Bond of Friendship deck draw a card. Campfire Tales. We're going to play Campfire Tales, and each player gets to draw a card. Then we're going to play a drinking song. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. And we have a Hobbit ally, so we get to shuffle these in and draw 7 cards. Faint, Limbus, Cram, Test of Will, Peace and Thought, Favor of the Valor, and a Golden Belt. We're going to put Cram onto Sam. Limbus. And we're going to put a Cram onto Bilbo. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. There's a total of 1, 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in the staging area. We're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to target gore bags. 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now we're going to also quest with Rosie to make 15, 16, 17. First card is a Orc of Mordor, a Surge. Now we got a Wounded Uruk that comes into play with 2 damage. And last card is another Winding Stairs. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go up to 19 in the staging area. And we're going to use Gladriel's ability to add 5. So we're up to 22. So we quested successfully by 3. And we get to deal another damage to Gorbag. We're going to engage the Orc of Mordor with the Rosie deck. I have no characters to exhaust. And then Sam readies. Now we're going to deal out shot. The combat phase, there's 2 archery. We're going to deal 1 to Gildor and 1 to Sam. So we're going to deal them both to Sam. We're going to block the Uric soldier with Sam. And then you're going to use Rosie's ability to give him +3 defense, so no damage. Now we're going to use Limbus to ready up Sam and heal all damage of the 2. And then block the Orc of Mordor. No shadow, no damage. Now we go to the end of the round. Player raises their threat by 1. Each hero gets a resource. Draw a card, Keenest Lances. And the Rosie decks, we're going to be playing a Peace and Sod, exhausting Rosie and Sam. So we get 5 cards. We're going to use Gildor's ability to draw a card. Now we're going to play the Keenest Lances and reduce my threat by 4. Cost 5. Bring us down to 30. Now we're going to go over to the Rosie deck, draw a card. And the Saruman staff I'm using as a proxy for Shadow of the Past. Now you can put a card from the top card of the discard encounter deck's discard pile on top of the encounter deck. Then I'm going to play a Race of Conies. I'm going to draw 2 cards and put 2 resources onto Galadriel. I'm going to spend 1 resource and put a Song of Travel onto Rosie. And that gives her the Spirit icon. Then I'm going to play a Fireside Song. And put that onto Rosie. And now she has 3 songs attached to her. So she's got 3 willpower. I'm going to put Sting onto Sam. Now we're going to put a fast hitch onto Sam. Now we're going to go over to the questing phase. And Sam gets +1 willpower, attack, and defense because of Sting. There's a total of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 5. Six, 7, 8, 9, targeting Gorbag. 10, 11. 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, and raise our threat by 1. Yorick Soldier. And the Bloodied Courtyard. So we added a total of 5 threats to the staging area. Bringing us up to 25. So at the moment we've quested unsuccessfully by 8. We're going to use Galadriel's ability to increase the willpower by 4, bringing us up to 21. Then we're going to use Rosie's ability to increase her willpower by 5 more. We're up to 26. So we quest successfully by 1. Put another damage onto Gorbag. And now we have 2 archery. We're going to put 2 onto Galadriel. We're going to engage the wounded Uruk with the Rosie deck, and that readies up Sam. So I have a chance to ready Sam once more if I use the magic ring. I deal out shadow cards. I'm going to block the wounded Uruk with Sam. And at the moment, Sam has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defense. And we're going to use Sting. Does no damage. And it's a Orcish Howls, yes. If you are engaged with another enemy, resolve this attack against that enemy. We're going to resolve this attack against the Orc of Mordor. So he's attacking for 5 and destroys the Orc of Mordor. And now we're going to block the Uric Soldier with Sam, raising our threat by 1 to ready him. With the magic ring, deals no damage, and it makes an additional attack. We're going to use a feint and cancel that attack. Now we go to the end of the round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Cheryl gets a resource. And we're going to play another Peace and Thought with the Rosie deck and exhaust Sam and Rosie. Draw 5 cards. Now we draw a card. We're going to put a fast hitch onto Sam. Then we're going to put a Friend of Friends onto Sam. And now Rosie has a Friend of Friends, and Sam has a Friend of Friends. So they each get +1 attack, willpower, defense, and hit points. Now we go over to the Bond of Friendship deck. Draw a card, a Cram. We're going to put the Cram onto Sam. Now we're going to use Gildor's ability to draw a card. Good Harvest. We're going to put a Golden Belt onto Sam. That tower is building up pretty quick. Now we're going to play Favor of the Valor. Now we'll go to the questing phase. There's a total of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. First card. Dawn. Drawn to the ring. First player must choose either exhaust the one ring and reveal an encounter card, or discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded, and put that enemy into play. Engage with the first player. We're going to discard cards until an enemy is discarded. The Orc of Mordor. We're going to exhaust Galadriel. And next card is Saga Archer. So that added a total of 2 threats to the staging area. Bring it up to 27. We're going to play a Elrond's Consul and target Rosie. Target Sam. And reduce our threat by 3. So now we're up to 19. We're going to raise Rosie's deck by 1 and use the last of the company's ability that I can reduce an enemy's threat in the staging area equal to the willpower of the hero attached to the last of the company. So I'm going to choose one of the Wraiths on Wings, and that reduces that by 5, bringing the stage area down to 22. Then I'm going to give Rosie's ability to Sam for adding 6 willpower, and we quest successfully by 3. And we deal another damage to Gorbag. Now we come to the engagement phase. We're going to engage the Uric Soldier with the Rosie deck and raise the threat by 2. And that readies up Sam. Now we deal out shadow cards. And we have 4 archery. We're going to put 1 on the Gildor, Glorian, and 3 on the Galdor of the Havens. Now we're going to block the Wounded Uruk with Sam. Deals 2 damage, it's destroyed. Now we're going to use Cram to ready up. Now we're going to block the Uruk Soldier with Sam, and deals no damage to the Sting's ability. And I have to exhaust a character. I have no characters ready, so no damage. Now I'm going to raise my threat by 1. to ready up with the magic ring, and I'm going to block the Uric Soldier, and deals no damage with Sting, and no damage. Do I have any more readies? No. I'm going to take this attack undefended. Attacking enemy gets +1 for each damage on it. There's no damage on it, so he deals 3 damage. We're going to deal 3 damage to Sam. But he has 1 extra hit point because of Friend of Friends. Now we go to the end of the round. Each player raises their threat by 1. Each hero gets a resource. Draw a card. Dunedain Remedy. We're going to play the Dunedain Remedy. Onto Galdor. Heal up the damage. Now we're going to go over to the Rosie deck. Draw a card. Now we're going to put a Unexpected Courage onto Sam. And put a Song of Wisdom onto Rosie, giving her another willpower. And she now has the lore icon. Now we're going to put the silver harp onto Galadriel. And go to the questing phase. We're going to raise each player's threat by 1 and keep Sam up. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And we're targeting Gorbag. First card is the ring draws them. We're going to play a Test of Will and cancel that effect. First card is a Orcish Howls. Deal 1 damage to each enemy in the staging area. So that destroys Gorbag. So our willpower goes down by 3, and the staging area goes down by 3. And then we add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up by 5, so we're up to 26. And second card, a Bloodied Courtyard. So we add 2 more threat, up to 28. So you're underquested by 6. We're going to raise our threat by 1 and use the last of the company's ability to reduce the threat of the Morgul Wraith. That's got 2 damage. So, and that will reduce that one by 6. So we quested neutral. Now, during the travel phase, we're going to spend 1 resource from Galdor to move the Dunedain Remedy over to Bilbo. Heal up 1, then we're going to spend 1 resource from Bilbo to send it over to Galdor. Heal up 1 damage. And then we're going to send the remedy over to Galadriel and heal up 1 damage. Now we're going to engage the Saga Archer with the Rosie deck, and we have to deal 2 damage to Galadriel, and we have 4 archery. We're going to deal 3 to Glorfindel and 1 to Galdor. So only 1 to Galdor. Yeah. Only 2 to Glorfindel, and we're going to put 1 onto Bilbo. And now we have the combat phase. And I have 1, 2, 3 readies, 4 readies with Sam. we're going to block Saga with Sam. And Sting does 3 damage, so that destroys them. Now we're going to ready Sam up. And then we're going to block the Uruk soldier. It's a +1 attack. And we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defense. So no damage. Then we're going to block the other Uruk soldier. No shadow, no damage. Raise our threat by 1. And block the Orc of Mordor. And no shadow, no damage. Go to the end of the round. Raise our threat by 1. Shiro gets a resource. Draw a card. Reforged. We're going to use Gildor's ability to have the Rosy deck draw a card. Now we're going to go over to the 300s deck. The Bond of Friendship deck, draw a card. Limbus. We're going to put a Limbus onto Sam. Now we go into the questing phase. Exhaust the Sam because of the heavy burden, and then ready him up with a fast hitch. And there's a total of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, and use target Saga. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 21, 22, 23. Raise our threat by 1. First card revealed. Deep Shadows. Doom 2. Each player must choose either discard his hand with at least 3 cards in it or reveal an encounter card. We're going to play a Test of Will and cancel that effect. Second card is a Wounded Urk. He comes into play with 2 damage, so we add a total of 2 threat to the staging area. We get up to 23. And right now, we're going to play a drinking song. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards in our hand. So we get to draw 13 cards. Yes. We're going to play Elrond's Consul. Reduce our threat by 3. And add 1 resource to Sam. So we quest successfully by 1. And that puts 1 damage onto Saga. And now we don't have to engage those 2 Wraith on Wings. Now we go into the engagement phase. We're going to engage the Wounded Urk with the Rosy deck. And then we have 2 archery. We're going to put 1 onto Gildor and 1 onto Glorfindel. Now we're going to use Galadriel's ability to have the Rosy deck draw a card and reduce their threat by 1. Deal out shadow cards. All the ones that you can see are all ready to have, so I can ready 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times. I'm going to block the Uruk-hai Soldier, and does 1 damage with Sting. And it's Orcish Howls. If you are engaged with another enemy, resolve this attack against that enemy. I'm going to attack the Wounded Uruk. So 5 attack and it destroys the Wounded Uruk. Now I'm going to ready up Sam and block the Uruk soldier. No damage. Sam and discard a non-objective attachment. I'm going to get rid of the 3 golden hairs. And no damage. Now I'm going to block the Orc of Mordor with no damage. And he gets +0. So no damage. Now we're going to ready up Sam. Sam is attacking at the moment for 1. We're going to use Rosie's ability to make him attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to destroy the healthy Uruk-hai soldier. Now we're going to use Limbus and ready him up, heal up to 3 damage, and attack and destroy the other Uruk-hai soldier. Now we go to the end of the round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Shiro gets a resource. Draw a card. Shadow of the Past. We're going to use Gildor's ability to draw a card. Good Harvest. Going over to the Rosie deck. Draw a card. Silver Harp. We're going to put a Silver Harp onto Rosie. Now all shadow cards are dealt face up. Now we're going to go into the combat phase. I mean the questing phase. We're going to play Soldier, a Steward of a Shadow of the Past, and put the top card of the discard pile on top of the encounter deck. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 in the staging area. And we're going to target this 2 damaged Wraith on Wings with Bilbo. So we're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. First card revealed is a Orcish Howls. Deal 1 damage to each enemy in the staging area. That destroys the Saga and deals 1 damage to each of the Race on Wings. And now, second card is a Wounded Uruk. So the total spread now in staging area is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 because of the Orcish Howls. We're going to play a Dwarven Tomb and bring back a Elrond's Consul. And now we're going to play that and add 1 more willpower. So we're up to 28. And reduce our threat by 3. Now we're going to use Sam's ability with the which the last of the company, raise our threat by 1 and reduce this by 6. So request successfully by 6. And then we're going to use Gladry's ability to lower our threat by 1 and draw a card. And then we deal 1 damage to the Race on Wings, requesting successfully. We're going to engage the Wounded Uruk. And we're also going to travel. Actually, we're going to travel to the Watcher, the 2 Watchers, right? Yeah, we're going to travel to the 2 Watchers. And that flips them over. And we're engaging the Wounded Uruk. And now the 2 Watchers is engaged with each player. And we're going to ready up Bilbo with Cram. And this has an ability that instead of dealing damage, it raises your threat. So I'm going to block. And the shadow, no shadow, so it does, wouldn't have done that 1 damage, but instead we raise our threat by 1. Now going over to the Rosy deck, attack. And we're going to attack the Wounded Uruk, and it does 3 damage, so we have to raise our threat by 3. And then we're going to block with Sam again, and it deals no damage. Block, no shadow. Block with Sam again, deals 3 damage, and it's destroyed. Now we're going to attack back with Sam, and Rosie's going to give him +7 attack and destroys the 2 Watchers. And then attack back and destroy the Wounded Uruk. And we go back to go immediately to the next stage. 2A. Fighting in the Tower. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, and discard cards from the top until X enemies is discarded, where X is the number of players in the game. Add each enemy discarded by this effect to the staging area. Uruk-hai Soldier and a Wounded Uruk. And the Wounded Uruk comes in with 2 damage on him. So now we go to the end of the round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Before the end of the round, we're going to use Galadriel's ability to lower their threat by 1 and draw a card. And now we're draw a card. Oh, it's the other team's turn. Each hero gets a resource. Draw a card. Strider. Now we're going to put Strider onto Rosie, giving her +2 willpower. Now we're going to put the Mirror of Galadriel onto Galadriel. Now we're going to search the top 10 cards of our deck for a card and put it into our hand. We're going to get the Calabrian Stone. Now we're going to use the... Now we have to discard a random card. We're going to use 2 resources from Sam to put the Calabrian Stone onto Rosie, giving her 2 more willpower. Now she's up to 11 willpower. Going over to the Bond of Friendship deck. Draw a card. And we're going to use Galadriel's ability to lower the threat by 1. And draw a card. And we're going to put a Dunedain warning onto Bilbo. And put a dagger onto Sam. No, let's put it onto Glorfindel. I want to see how many restricted attachments I have on Sam. 1. Actually, we'll put it onto Sam. So he gets +2 attack. Now we're going to go to the questing phase, and this has a special ability about to be. It's 2 willpower. 2B. It's got 18 quest points. Now at the end of the beginning of the questing phase, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. If there is a copy of that enemy in the staging area, discard that copy as well. If there is not, add the discarded enemy to the staging area. So we're discarding. It's a Orc of Mordor. So there's a total of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Then we're going to target the heavily damaged Race on Wings. 18, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28. And the first card revealed is a Saga Archer. Second card revealed is a Evil Vigilance. Each player must choose either discard a questing character you control or raise your threat by 1 for each questing character you control. So we're going to raise our threat by 2. raise their threat by 3. Okay, so we added 2 to this staging area, so that brings it up to 29. We're tied. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to cancel this effect of the evil vigilance. So we're both back down to 39 threat. Now we're going to go to the combat phase. Well, first we're going to, can we travel at all? No, so what's engaging us? We got 2 characters that can 3 characters that have to engage us. Actually, sorry about this, but I can't change my mind. I'm letting that go through. I'm not canceling this out because I'll be dead if I cancel it out. So now we're going to go to the travel phase. Before the travel phase, I'm going to play a Reforged, and raise and put a Limbus into play onto on the Glorfindel. And then we're going to travel to the... Oh, we're going to put it into play onto Rosie. And now we're going to travel to the winding stairs. And now each character in the staging area gets plus 10 engagement cost. So the only ones that have to engage are the Orc of Mordor. So we're going to optionally engage the damaged. Let's see if I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. And then this comes down to us on its own. We have to exhaust a character. We're going to exhaust Rosie. And deal out shadow cards. We're going to take this attack undefended, and it's going to attack the Nazgul. So no damage. And now we're going to block with Sam, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defense. Deals 2 damage to the Race on Wings. Makes an additional attack. I'll block it again. It does 3 damage. Or Gorbag should be destroyed. Does no damage. And no shadow. So, and then no damage. And now Rosie's going to ready up with Limbus. And Sam is going to ready up. And Rosie's going to give Sam plus 9. Plus 11 attack. And he's going to attack and destroy the Race on Wings. And then ready up again and destroy the Orc of Mordor. And there was 2 archery. I put that on Rosie before. Then when she ready, it healed it up. So we go to the next round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Shiro gets a resource. Draw a card. The Dunedain Warning. We're going to put a Burning Brand onto Galdor. to put a Dunedain warning onto Galdor. Now we're going to go over to the Rosie deck, draw a card. Now we're going to play the Mirror Galadriel and search the top 10 cards for a card. Get the Steward. And we're just going to put the random card back in our hand. Now we're going to put a Steward of Gondor onto Rosie. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. We have to discard cards. Oh, there's no enemy in there. That. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20, 22 in the staging area. And we're going to quest with 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 28. First card is an Ever Vigilance. We're going to test the will that. Second card is a Saga Archer. And increase the threat by 2, so we're up to 24. So we quested successfully by 4. That clears out the winding stairs. Now we're going to exhaust Glorfindel and Galadriel to travel to the winding stairs. And all enemies in the staging area have plus 10 engagement cost. We're going to engage the Orc of Mordor. We're going to actually engage the Race on Wings optionally. And then the Orc of Mordor comes into play. So we have to ready up Sam, and then it'll exhaust Sam. And we have to spend 1 resource from to move the Dunedain Remedy over to Glorfindel. Heals up 1 damage. And we're going to spend 1 resource to move it over to Bilbo. heal up 1 resource, spend 1 resource, send it over to Glorfindel, heal up a damage, spend a resource, and send it over to Galdor, and heal up a damage. And we have 4 archery. We're going to put 3 onto Glorfindel and 1 onto Bilbo. Deal out shadow cards. We are going to take this attack undefended from the Race on Wings, and it's got Orcish Howls. If you're engaged with another enemy, resolve this attack against that enemy. I'm engaged with the Orcs of Mordor, so it attacks and destroys that. Then I'm going to attack back with Sam, getting Rosie's buff of 11 attack, and destroy this Race on Wings. Go to the next round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Shiro gets a resource. Draw a card. Test a will. I'm going to search the top 10 cards for a card. We're going to get a Unexpected Courage. Put that back in our hand. Now we're going to play an Unexpected Courage and put it onto Rosie. Now we're going to put a Red Book of Westmarch onto Rosie. It gives all Hobbit characters +1 willpower when Rosie attacks. When Rosie quests. Now I'm going to go over to the Bond of Friendship deck, draw a card. Now we go to the questing phase. Discard enemies. Discard cards until an enemy. Another one of those again. Why can't we get a different enemy? Now we're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to target one of the Saga archers. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28. And the staging area has 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And the first card revealed is a Torchlit Hall. Second card reveals another Torchlit Hall. So he added 4. So it's 21. So he quested successfully by 7. We're going to add Rosie to make it 17. So that puts 4 progress here and 13 progress onto the main quest. And now we're going to travel to the Torchlit Hall. But first we have to deal out damage to the Saga and give Rosie a resource for questing successfully. After you travel to Torchlit Hall, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. If there is an enemy of that type in the staging area, discard that copy as well. If there is not, add the just discarded enemy to the staging area. There is. So we discard the Yurk soldier. Now we're going to use Gladriel's ability to lower the Bond of Friendships deck by 1 and draw a card. So both of our threats are at 43, so we don't have to engage the Saga Archer. Now I'm going to optionally engage the Orc of Mordor, and the Wounded Urk is coming down naturally. And we have 4 archery. We're going to put 2 onto Sam, 1 onto Rosie, and 1 onto Galdor. Now we're going to block the Wounded Urk with Sam, and does no damage with Sting. He's attacking for 5. I have 1, 2. I'm going to move the Dunedain Warning over to Sam from Galdor, and the other Dunedain Warning over to Sam from Bilbo. So Sam now has 1, 2, 3, 4 defense. And so he takes 1 damage. Actually, we're just going to cancel that shadow effect. So he takes 1 damage. And now we'll block the other one, and he's attacking for 3, so no shadow, no damage. Now we're going to attack back for 1, 2, and deal 1 damage to the... Oh, we forgot to reveal a card. No damage. So now we go to the end of the round. Each player raises their threat by 1. Hero gets a resource. Draw a card. Favor of the Valor. Go over to the Rosy deck. Draw a card. Search the top 10 cards of the deck for a card. We're going to get the Northern Tracker. We're going to put the Northern Tracker into play. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. Discard cards until an enemy is discarded. Wounded Uruk. Now there's a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in the staging area. And I get to put 1 progress in each of the locations in the staging area. And requesting for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to target the Saga. It's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 29. First card, Ill Fate. Attach that to Glorfindel. Surge, Wounded Uruk. Comes into play with 2 damage on them. Now, second card. Evil Vigilance. Each player must choose either discard a questing character you control or raise your threat by 1 for each questing character. We're going to put Test of Will to that. So we added a total of 2 to the staging area, bringing it up to 17. So we quested successfully by 12. That clears out the Torchlit Hall and puts 9 progress onto the main quest, bringing us up to 22. So now we can travel to the topmost chamber. We have to add Shagrat to the staging area to do that. Then I'm going to use Galadriel's ability to have the Bond of Friendship deck draw a card and reduce their threat by 1. Then I'm going to play Dwarven Tomb and put a Elrond's Console into my hand and play that and reduce my threat by 3. And I get 1 resource for questing successfully. So the only cards that need to be engaged are the Wounded Uruks. I'm going to optionally engage 1. I also put 1 damage onto the Saga Archer. I'm actually going to optionally engage the Saga, and both of these come down 1 to each of us. We deal out shadow cards. We also have 4 archery to deal with. I'm going to put 2 of them onto the Northern Tracker. One onto Rosie and 1 onto Bilbo. And then I'm going to play a Reforged and put a Limbus onto the Gildor. And I'm going to ready up Galdor and heal the damage, and then block I'm going to be sending over 1 of the Dunedain warnings to Galdor to give him +1 defense. And I'm going to cancel that shadow effect. And he takes 3 damage. And now I'm going to block the Wounded Uruk with Sam. Does no damage. He makes an additional attack. I'm going to be sending this Dunedain warning back to Sam. I'll block with Sam. And does 2 damage to him and he's destroyed. Block with Sam. Does 1 damage to him. And now I'm going to block the other Orc of Mordor. That's 2 damage to him and he's destroyed. And now finally we're going to block the Shagrat. And no damage. I have to raise my threat by 1 for that last attack. It's the magic ring. And then I'm going to play Dwarven Tomb and put a Reforged back in my hand. Then I'm going to play Reforged. I'm not going to pay anything. I'm going to choose a Cram and put, because it's going to cost 0, and put that onto Sam. And then I'm going to ready up Sam and give Rosie's 12 attack boost and destroy Shagrat. Now we go to the next round. Raise each player's threat by 1. Draw a card. Now we're going to search the top 10 cards per deck for a card. We're going to get the Dunedain Signal. We're going to put the Dunedain Signal onto Sam. Now we're going to play a Staff of Sermon and put this card back on top of the deck. Going over to the Bond of Friendship deck, draw a card, Thorngill. We're going to play Thorngill. And we're going to attach the Lord Glorfindel to Glorfindel. And now this Glorfindel gains the ability that it can spend 1 resource to heal 1 damage to a character. And then we're going to spend 2 resources and put a Ringmail on top of I'm putting the Ringmail onto Sam, giving him another defense and hit point. So he's up to now 5 defense and 5 hit points. And he's filled up with his restricted attachments. Now we're going to pay a favor of the Valor and put that onto the Rosie's threat dial. And now we go to the questing phase. We discard enemies. Oh, it's a Saga archer. So these 2 are discarded. The staging area looks a lot less crowded than it did a while ago. Now we put 1 progress in each of the locations in the staging area. And we're going to quest for one, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 26. That should be good enough. First card revealed is a Orcish Howls. Gain Surge because there's no enemies. Second card, Orcish Howls. Gain Surge. Bloodied Courtyard. And Winding Stairs. Added 5. So we're up to 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we quested successfully by 13. That explores the topmost chamber. And we go to the next round. First player takes control of Frodo. When revealed, add last of the company to the victory display. Attach the ring bearer to add 1 ring to the ring bearer and exhaust the ring bearer. The first player moves the 2 watchers to the victory display from the victory display to the staging area, location side face up. Each other player reveals an encounter card. Okay, now we put the watcher into the staging area. And 3B, Escape from Cirith Ungol. 12 quest points. The players can't travel to the 2 watchers unless there are at least 12 progress here. While the 2 watchers is in the staging area, enemy side face up, it gets +3 will threat and 3 defense, and is considered to be engaged with each player. This stage can't be defeated while the 2 watchers is in play. If this stage is defeated, the players win the game. We're not going to travel anywhere. And now that I have Sentinel, I'm going to block this one Wounded Uruk, and does 3 damage and he's destroyed. Now I'm going to block the other Wounded Uruk, does no damage, and attacking for +1, and so he's attacking for 6, and we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take 1 damage. We'll just have Rosie give her defense. So we've got 17 defense. So we take no damage. And Glorfindel is going to attack for 3 and deal 1 damage to the Wounded Uruk. Now we're going to use Galadriel's ability to have the Bond of Friendship deck draw a card. Reduce the threat by 1. Now we're going to go to the next round. But before we go to the next round, we're going to use Glorfindel's ability to heal 1 damage from Sam. Raise a player's threat by 1. Hero gets a resource. Draw a card, fast hitch. We're going to put a fast hitch onto Frodo. Now we're going to put a dagger onto Glorfindel. Now we're going to go over to the Rosie deck, draw a card. Going to search the top 10 cards of our deck. Going to get to Elrond's Console. Now we're just going to go to the questing phase. We're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30. That should be good. And that puts 1 progress on each of the locations. That clears out Cirith Ungol. And so there's a total of 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 in the staging area. Oh, we either have to discard a character or raise player's threat by 1. I'm going to raise my threat by 1, 2, 3. And you're going to raise your threat by 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to play 2 Elrond's Consuls. Oh, first I have to reveal another card, a Uric Soldier. Then I'm going to play 2 Elrond's Consuls and lower my set threat by 6. So we added 3 to the staging area, bringing it up to 20. So we quested successfully by 10. And adding the 2 Elrond's Consuls makes it 12. So we put 12 progress onto the escape from Cirith Ungol. We're going to travel to the 2 Watchers. Now it's got +3 threat and +3 defense. And we're going to optionally engage the Uric Soldier, and we have to raise our threat by 2. Now, deal out shadow cards. We're going to block the 2 Watchers with Sam. No shadow, no damage. We're going to block the Wounded Urk with Sam. Discard a attachment. Discard the cloak. And now we're going to block the 2 Watchers with Sam. No shadow, no damage. And finally, the 2 Watchers. Discard a attachment. We're going to get rid of Old Bogey Stories. Now attack back. Or attack back with raising our threat by 1 to ready up Sam. And give Rosie's 11 attack boost. And we're going to attack the 2 Watchers for 11, 12, 13, 13, and that destroys them. So there's a win. It was a long fought game. I might have made a few mistakes, but I don't think it would have affected the game. This is a tough quest, and there's easy to make mistakes for how long it is. And before we end up, I'm just going to do a little bit of healing. Heal up Glorfindel. Spend this to heal up Bilbo. Spend 1. Heal up Gladriel. Spend 1. Heal up Sam. Heal up Rosie. And heal up Gildor. And then lastly heal up Glorfindel. Galdor. What's that? Remedy. So the MVPs in this one, I have to say, are the Fast Hitch or the Unexpected Courage. The Fast Hitch for the Bond of Friendship deck, and the Unexpected, and the Shadow of the Past for the Rosie deck. And the final score was 130, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 55, 56, 57, 61, 201, minus off 10, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, so 128. So I'll see you when the Black Gate opens. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.